Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi folks, Dave with DBS Tech Talk. Today we're going to talk about the Moondrop Starfields. I want to thank my patrons for helping support the channel and for providing some funds to be able to bring in these Starfields for review. If you want to support the channel and help out and see more great gear reviewed like the Starfields, check out the link down below. Alright, so the Moondrop Starfield is a pretty well-known IEM and has been talked about quite a bit. And let's find out what I think of the Moondrop Starfield. So it comes in this nice box. It's about the normal size box, something that you would get a Blonde BL03, BL05, or a TFZ King Edition, something like that comes in. It has a little bit nicer of a presentation because it has this little sleeve on the outside that has this nice little picture, has some it's like you're looking at the sky. It's kind of cool. On the back it says that it has a carbon nanotube diaphragm and that it is a listen to the sound of stars. Does this make it sound like I'm listening to the stars? Well, I've never been to space, so I don't know what the stars sound like, but maybe this will give me a hint. Take the slide off here, and you're going to come up with an empty box. Now, actually, your IEMs will be here. Take this little lip off, you have a little container underneath, and you get an interesting bag. It has like a set of tweezers and some filter screens in it that you can replace. You've also got some paperwork under there if you want to or need to file for warranty. You also get a carrying case. Let's set all this to the side here. So the carrying case is small, a little hard shell case with a zipper, and it's nice and okay, but problem I have is that it's a little bit on the snug side. When the cables and the IEMs are in there, I wish it was just a little bit bigger. Things just don't fit quite right. It feels like I'm smashing things together. You do get a bag of tips. I was a little bit disappointed in the selection. They didn't really provide a ton of selection, like an amount, but what they did provide worked very well, and I actually am using the stock tip. Speaking of the IEMs themselves, here they are, and they are just gorgeous to look at. Small, and you're going to want a cleaning cloth around. In fact, I have one right here, because you're going to want to take those fingerprints and remove them so that you can get the full effect. So one side has a star effect, and as you can see the little star field inside it. They just look like you're looking at the sky, especially in the proper light. They are just gorgeous. And then on the other side, it's a little bit more plain Jane looking, and you end up with it just saying Moondrop. See if we can get some of that sunshine off of there in reflections. But they are just beautiful to look at. Clean them up a little bit more. Take off the tip here, and has a small nozzle, fairly decent sized bore. Not a whole lot of curves on the back side of the shell, but it's enough to be extremely comfy in the ears. Tips work real well. You can replace with third-party tips if you want. Again, I didn't see any need, but pretty much everything I tried fit on there and stayed on there. Nothing got stuck in my ears when I pulled them out. So easy to tip roll with, and just extremely beautiful to look at. The cable is a 2-pin with a recess, so it's a little bit deep. May play havoc if you try to change cables, but truthfully I do not know why you would want to change cables. I find that this cable is exceptional for the price. It has nice ear hooks that have just enough tension on them to be comfortable and to not be annoying and loose or tight. Just fits about right. Has a nice split, goes to a little metal split, and just flows, doesn't really tangle up or anything of the sort. And then it goes down to a right angle 3.5 millimeter, and I have no complaints about the cable, about the build. Comfort wise, these things are outstanding. I can wear them for hours, do not have any issues whatsoever. The only complaint that I have is that they don't isolate outside noises very well. They tend to only be about 50% blocking of outside noises, so it is a little lackluster. So if you are in a loud environment, these won't be the greatest option in that regard, but it's adequate. And you're going to have music on anyway, so there you go. So yeah, we're off to a really good start with the Moondrop Starfields. Build-wise, comfort, design, just top-notch. How do they sound? Sound is actually quite pleasant. It's going to be a very accepted sound signature across the masses. Pretty much everybody will enjoy these. I don't really see anybody knocking them and not enjoying them. I think that they are very well done, very well priced for what you get. The sub bass is nice and present. You get a nice little to it. It has a nice slam and body to it. It's fun and energetic. Mid bass is also the same. You get nice slam, nice body, and a girthiness to it. But none of the bass overpowers any of the rest of the mix. It's just a very much there, very present, but it stays in its place. The one thing about it is it does, even though it has good details and decent clarity, it struggles on busier tracks, and it loses a little bit of texture and a little bit of definition. On busier tracks, it'll become a little muddled, a little jumbled up and confused. But for the most part, it's just a very pleasing and fun bass, and has very good tonality, and it'll keep you engaged and energetic. The mids are natural sounding. Lower mids have a little bit more body to them, a little more warmth, and as you climb into the upper mids, it'll lean out just a little bit and get a little more airiness to it. Both males and females sound fantastic. Acoustic instruments sound very good, and I find that the mids to be very pleasant. Good details and clarity in the mids. And I really do enjoy the mids for the most part. Upper mids can be a little bit shouty, especially in the presentation of details. It's a little bit more aggressive in that area. It's not to the point of being fatiguing or grating on the ears, but it can be considered aggressive. So if you're sensitive in that, you may want to look elsewhere. But for the most part, I find it very pleasing. Just a little bit too much sizzle and energy in the upper mids for me. Treble wise is very well extended, very clean, clear for the most part. Does lack resolution in the top end, and it can have just a little bit of haziness in areas, but it's not really noticeable. Except for on certain tracks or badly recorded tracks. Every now and then you'll get it. But for the most part, it's a very pleasing and smooth, very well-rounded treble. And I find it to have good air, and just has a nice extension to it. And so tonality-wise, the Starfields do a good job. Timbre is a little bit off, but it's not offensive. I find that electric guitars, electric pianos, some more like brass instruments and woodwinds tend to be a little bit on the more accentuated side, and just a little bit too crisp, a little too forward in the mix. But overall, they sound very pleasing. I do not have any complaints as regarding to the sound. Soundstage is a little oddball. They're a little bit center image focused. They have good width to them, but everything on the right and the left side kind of seems a little bit thinner, a little bit less defined than the center image. They always seem to be a little bit farther back or away from the center image. It's a little bit too prominent in the middle, and so it'll sound intimate when things aren't necessarily intimate. Isolation and separation of instruments is fairly good, but again, kind of pushes everything more towards the middle of your head versus kind of being more spread out. Lacks a little bit of spatial awareness. But for the most part, I don't find the soundstage to be offensive at all. It's a very pleasing and fun, engaging soundstage. I wouldn't really use them for gaming, but they are fun for watching movies and videos, things like that. So overall, the Moondrop Starfield, do I recommend them? Absolutely. These have a fantastic value at $110. I think that these should be considered one of the best options if you are in that price point. A couple of alternate IEMs to look at would be the iBasso IT01. That has a little bit more of a V shape to it, a little bit more prominent bass, a little more controlled bass, a little bit more details, and then it has a little brighter sound signature up top in the treble, but it extends better and has better details and resolution. But the mids are better on the Moondrop. The Simgot EN700 Pros would be another option. They are a little bit more pricey, they're about $20 more, but they have more controlled bass, better defined bass, and the treble is smoother, and the upper, mids, lower treble region is also more controlled. Have a little bit lesser defined soundstage though. The what was the other one? AudioFly AF100 Mark IIs. Now the AudioFly AF100 Mark IIs are more neutral, have excuse me, have better defined bass, and mids are more natural and more timbre accurate, and the treble is better extended and not quite as accentuated out, so it's not quite as forward. Soundstage is wider and more even across the stage, and also does better in spatial awareness. But overall, I really find that the Moondrops, the Starfields from Moondrop, are an excellent choice. If you're looking for $100 to $110 IEM, you can't go wrong with the Moondrop Starfields. It has fantastic sound qualities, and I'm pretty sure that it will really please everybody. There's not really anything that it does wrong that's going to be offensive, and it does a lot of things right to be pleasing, and just overall makes me enjoy my music for hours on end. So these Moondrop Starfields, they get a thumbs up from me. It's been Dave with DBS Tech Talk. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen is a subscription link and notification bell. If you haven't already, please check those off, and then check out the links down below for the gear listed today in today's review, and also for all kinds of other links to Deezer, Tidal, Patreon, PayPal, Discord, Subscribestar, you name it, it's down there. Thanks, and have yourself a great day. And also, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.